Okay, welcome to training video number 2. At this point in time, you should have already reviewed the first training video on this channel. If you've not done so yet, I suggest you go back and review that video. This video in particular, based on feedback, is I want to be a little bit more detailed and precise and actually give you one additional tool about exactly when to pull the trigger on buying a trade. And so in this video, I'm going to assume that you fully understand all the material from video number 1. And what I'm going to show here is once you have all the conditions as true that are in video number 1 about when it's time to buy a stock, is this video is going to go into more detail on the 2-minute time frame about exactly how to do that. Because unfortunately the market doesn't always do exactly what we want it to do, and really most of the time it doesn't actually. So we need to be a little bit more adaptable and add kind of our list of criteria about exactly when to get into a trade. So I'm going to go through a couple of examples based on previous stocks which were posted in the Telegram group. And we're going to begin with NVIDIA here. And this trade was posted on Friday, July 24th, 2026. And in this trading day, as the market kind of went higher for the first half of the day, and then kind of dropped off the latter half of the day. And so we're going to explore a few tools here. And once again, this is what you're going to do as sort of like a final step after all the material from video number 1 is showing as true on your checklist and your analysis. Okay, so what I've added here is in video number 1, we had the volume profile. I showed you a tool called the PVP, which is the periodic volume profile. This is a built-in tool on TradingView, which you probably already have installed if you've followed video number 1. So I'm going to put this down a little bit more precise, and we're going to shorten it up a bit more just to give us better timing on making a trade during the trading day. So in the previous video, I discussed setting this indicator. If we go to our settings and inputs, in the previous video, I had this indicator set to 1 day. So now I'm going to ask you to go into settings and set it to 45 minutes. And so when you make this change, you're going to see a bunch of value areas showing up, and each one covers the time period of 45 minutes. And I'm going to show you exactly how to use this in your trading. So if you just go into settings and then just be sure these other settings are as they are shown here. The volume is you're using the total volume. The value area volume is set to 68, and this is set to number of rows. If you go into style, this I actually recommend playing around with it a little bit, because I believe the default settings are going to be quite, it's going to make your screen very crowded. So you're going to want to get rid of a lot of things, and also reduce the opacity of the lines here just to kind of make them fade in the background a little bit, because this will make things easier. Just your chart will be overall much more readable. The other thing here in the Style tab, which actually gives a great example of how exactly these lines are calculated. If you activate the volume profile, I'm just going to do this temporarily. Then you're going to get a chance to see exactly how these work. So when we have this in the inputs, we have this 68 here. What it's doing here is, like, let's use this one here as an example. If you see this blue area here, and see how it's sort of shaped in like a rounded shape here, and then you have a white line here and a white line here. And so what this is each time a trade happens at a price level in NVIDIA, that TradingView will draw a line according to maybe how many shares were traded at that price level. And then once we get to the end of the 45 minutes, then you're going to have a collection of data which will oftentimes look what we call the bell curve shape. And if you want to know more about bell curves, you can look it up, because this is a very powerful concept in statistics, is bell curves. And 68%, the number we have in our inputs for this indicator, is 68% is sort of considered as, they call it one standard deviation. So don't worry too much about this concept, but the main reason I'm showing you this is because we want to be using this data to make actual trades using these white lines that were given, just like I explained in the previous video. However, the difference here is that we're using the 45-minute value areas. And just let me remove the volume profile again. So you may recall that in the previous video I said that once a value area is completed, then we are going to use those two price levels for the period of time until the next value area is completed. So what that means is, if we, let's say, start on the left side of my screen here, and so after this volume area is completed, then once the next one starts, then we're going to use this level, 210.02 and 208.85. We're going to use these price levels for the next 45 minutes. Okay, so what are we going to do with these price levels? Well, it's a very similar concept as the previous video. Is we're just waiting for the price level to break above the top level of our current value area. So in NVIDIA here, I added this stock to the list probably around like somewhere in here, I think it was, or maybe even back here. But what we're doing is, in the first training video, I mentioned that you would ideally like to see the MACD falling below the zero line, which we have here. And then next is we have the MACD, which made a higher low, as mentioned in the previous video right here. So now comes the time where you got to ask yourself, like, should we actually go ahead and buy this stock for a trade? And what I can add for you to make things a little bit more certain, because at this point, based on my feedback I'm getting, is that it's still a little bit unclear about when exactly to push the button. So if you have these value areas here each 45 minutes, I think it makes it much more clear. And so that would be, we have this one level up here, which is 211.03. So this was the current level, which was valid when I added the stock. And then this value area then completed 45 minutes later. So then we're getting our next valid area, which is 210.33. And so as you can see, if we zoom out, that NVIDIA actually never actually recorded a buy signal according to this value area analysis method because it never ever broke above the current high of the current value area at any time during this time period. So it was at here, and then we moved down here. You can see right here it got to the top of it, but it got rejected, and then it started to sell off after that. So this is to, I hope you can clearly see here that this is how we can add one final step of analysis just to make things a bit more clear. Let's look at another example that I put on the list very early in the day. I had United Airlines. All right, so this gold area here is the pre-market. This purple here is the after hours from the day before. So this is still Friday, July 24th, trading day. And fairly early in the day, I added this name to the list. And we had our point down here where the MACD went below the zero line. And then here is one very important formation I want you to learn about, is when you have a value area where it is very compressed like this, the two lines are extremely close together compared to the others. This indicates that the stock is potentially about to make a big move, like either up or down. So we have this on our list, so obviously we're only interested that it's going up, and that it most certainly did. As you can see here, we got a nice, like very strong green candle here coming out of the value area, and it caused a very nice trade actually if you're using this methodology. So we had, as our previous video criteria, we had the MACD below the zero line, and then our value area gave a nice strong move as soon as this value area was completed. Then our price level was 116.82 that we're watching, and shortly afterwards it rose above that and caused our confirmed buy signal. So please add this to your charts. Once again, it's the PVP indicator, and you should be setting it to 45 minutes, and then using the top price level of the current value area as your, we call it the resistance level. So a resistance level means that if the price is able to break through the resistance, then that means that it's taking its next move to the upside. And yeah, so I believe this should make things more clear about your trading, of when exactly to get into a trade.